Hey guys, welcome to my 3D modeling tutorial. In this video, I'll show you step by step how to create these wooden utensils in Blender. Let's get started. The first thing we'll do is bring in our reference image. You can pause here and screenshot the reference image so that you can follow along with the tutorial. Go to the image properties and reduce the opacity a bit. Then lock it so that it doesn't get selected. Add a plane, rotate using RX90, then adjust the plane to be at the foot of the knife. Turn on the X-ray mode so that we can be able to see the reference image while working on the plane. Switch to edit mode and then select the two upper vertices and move up towards the Z direction. By doing this, we are trying to create the basic geometry of the knife. From here, you keep extruding and adjusting the vertices where necessary. You can add a lot of loop cuts here to form the sharp edge of the knife. Then keep adjusting the vertices to align with the reference image. Next, we'll add two loop cuts in the middle. This will help us remove unwanted edges and vertices at the left side of the knife. Selecting the knife tool, we'll cut from here to here. Then remove these parts, giving us a cleaner topology. Then you do the same for the rest. Then you can add a subsurface modifier. We can see that the right sharp side of the knife is too rounded because of the modifier applied. So we'll rectify that later on in the video. We can see that the foot of the knife is also affected by the modifier. So we'll rectify that now. We'll select all faces and then insert a little bit. Now we can adjust the foot. Selecting the knife tool, we cut here, then here. Then while on face select, join the two faces. Do the same for the other side as well. Adjust this side to the reference image. Make here sharper as well. Now we'll make some of the areas of the right side sharp. Adjust those vertices too close to some of the other vertices. Then select the knife tool and cut through the parts that you want sharp. Then cut like this as well. You can see that it looks more sharper than the other parts. Now you can do the same for the others. We can see now that it's looking more like the reference image. Even the foot as well. Next, you select all the faces and then extrude towards the Y direction. You can shade smooth as well. Always check if your object normal is facing the right direction. Here it's not. Select all faces and press Alt N, then select Recalculate Outside. This makes the normal face the right direction. Now the last and final step is to add a loop cut and then bevel to both edges. And we have our knife model. Next, we'll create a fork by adding a plane just like the previous one. Rotate using RX90, scale it down to the foot of the fork, then move it up in the Z direction. Adjust the vertices and extrude up as well to get the basic form of the fork. Then add 6 loop cuts to create the tines of the fork. Then adjust according to the reference image. Then delete these parts. You can add subsurface modifier to check how it looks. We need to add some loop cuts to make it better. Turn it off first. Then go ahead and add the loop cuts to all the corners. Add another loop cut here. We can change the flow of the edge loops by using the knife tool. We'll cut through the middle and then cut from both corners. And then dissolve the inner edges. You can do the same for the rest as well. Next, we have to make those double lines into single lines to make a better topology. To do that, we have to add another loop cut here. Select the 2 middle vertices and then slide them up. Then cut through using the knife tool. Select the inner edges and dissolve them. Select the outer edges and dissolve them as well. Then do the same for the others. You can turn on the modifier to check again. We can add some loop cuts to the top as well to make it more sharper. And then slide this area down to reduce any pinching. And as we can see, it looks more like the reference image. But we can see that the foot is a bit too sharp. It needs to be a bit rounded. To do that, we add a loop cut here and drag it down. Select the left edge and drag towards the right. And select the right edge and drag towards the left. Using the knife tool, you cut through the middle. Then select both opposite edges and dissolve them. Do the same for the other side. Add another loop cut and drag it down to get the curve that you want. Now it looks more like the reference image. Next, you select all edges and extrude towards the Y direction. then shade smooth. Lastly, you will add an edge loop here and then bevel towards the edges. And we have our fork completed. Next, we'll create our spoon by creating a plane as well. Rotate 90 degrees in the X direction and then adjust to the foot of the spoon. Same as before, select the top vertices and move towards the Z direction. Then adjust the vertices and extrude towards the Z direction as well. Add a subsurface modifier. We can see that the bottom part is not that okay. We'll work on that later on in the video. Switch to edit mode, then add 2 loop cuts. Select all the edges around the spoon. Then select the handle of the spoon as well. Make sure you are in vertex mode, then hide the selected vertices. Select these vertices and then while clicking proportional editing, move the vertices towards the Y direction a bit. Select the middle one alone and then move again a bit. And then you can unhide everything. So now for the foot part, we can select everything and then insert. Using the knife tool, we can cut through here and here. Then join both faces together. You can do the same for the other side as well. Now you can see that they look the same. You can adjust to your taste if necessary. You can adjust this top part as well. Next, you can select all faces and extrude towards the Y-axis. Then lastly, add a loop cut, then bevel towards both edges. And we have our spoon model completed. Next, we'll texture all utensils. Drag the timeline up. Change it to shader editor. Create a new material. Then click on the principled BSDF node and press Ctrl+Shift+T. Now you can select the textures you downloaded. You can switch to material view mode to view the textures. You can see that it's not appearing properly. Change this from UV to object and it's a bit better now. You can scale it down to 0.5 and change the rotation in the Z-axis to 90 degrees. I kept changing the scale here, but I found out that there's some distortion in the textures applied. That's because I've not unwrapped their UVs. To do that, we'll open another window and change it to UV editor. Then switch to edit mode, select all, press U and then select Smart Unwrap. Now we can see that we have better textures. Now for the fork, switch to edit mode, select all, U and then select Smart Unwrap. Create new material, select Principled BSDF and press Ctrl+Shift+T. Select your materials, then apply. Change the Z rotation to 90 and the lines become vertical. Next, select the spoon and repeat the process. Change UV to object. Change Z rotation to 90 degrees and then adjust scale to taste. I forgot to change the fork from UV to object. Then adjust scale to taste. Next, we have a plane. Scale it to taste. Select the back edge and extrude towards the Z-axis. Select the middle edge and bevel. Switch to render view mode. Change object to world. Click background and select Ctrl+T. This will open the environmental texture. Click on open to select an HDRI. Now our scene has some good lighting, but we need to remove the background. To do this, we'll go to the Render Properties tab, select the film, and then click on Transparent. Next, we'll bring in our camera, and then move to a good position. When the camera is selected, press numpad O to switch to camera view. On the View tab, select Camera to View. This will help us to move around without changing from the camera view. You can adjust your view to your taste. When done, you can change your render engine from Eevee to Cycles. Thank you so much for sticking with me till the end. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a like and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you in the next tutorial.